When I arrived at CSU in the 1980s, I knew not one person. So Eddy did indeed become my home. Eddy became the center, the grounding point of my life in Colorado. 25 years later, I still consider Eddy a home. It was in my first semester in Eddy that I raised my hand in Dr. Bill McBride's class and asked about the word pedagogy. I learned from that talk and others that followed that my keenest interest was in education and teaching. Dr. Carol Mitchell, who's here today, thank you, helped me put together my first literature course, the first literature course that I taught in Eddy. And in light of putting that course together, I learned the Ramayana. In Eddy, I first saw her amazing slideshow of images connected to this masterpiece. And she gifted me the same slideshow so that I could share the wonders of Rama, Sita, Hanuman, and other key figures with my students after she retired. The Ramayana has become one of my favorite literary works, and our friendship has continued these 20-plus years. We regularly yoga together and chat over coffee. And it was in Eddy that I had some of my most meaningful discussions of my life with Dr. Kate Kiefer. When we had a common hour free between classes, I would literally run sometimes to her office, and we would talk about cutting-edge science, what CSU scientists were contributing to conversations, and what hopefully our science writing students were contributing to those conversations also. Once, when I wanted to be sure that our grading was consistent, we standardized our grading. We worked on my grading so that it was useful and clear. It was very important work. Not so meaningful, but certainly fun are the laughs and the disgust we shared about cat barf. If you have a cat, you know what I mean. Unrelated to cat barf, Kate and I breakfast every month and have since she retired. Kate's friendship, kindled and nurtured in Eddy, is precious to me. Dr. Aparna Galapurdi, right across the hall from me in Eddy, entices me with foods from India and tempts me with chocolate. Dr. Sue Doe has what I named the truth chair in her office. I think of myself as an honest person, but when I sit in that chair, I'm a bit more direct and vehement. Several times I've said, I'm not sitting in that chair today. And Eddy has been a part of my biological family. When Scout, my daughter, was little and I needed to work in the office, I would lug up a huge bin of Legos, and she would sit on a blanket on the floor, playing and creating. Kate's son and daughter created with those Legos before she gave them to Scout. What an awesome connection. Scout still has books that English chairperson Dr. Luann Reed gave her. One time, when Scout was on her way to the bathroom in Eddy, she ran into Dr. Judy Donges, and they chatted. Scout still asks about her. Ultimately, all these relationships come into being because of our students. This summer, in an Eddy classroom, my student Bryant and I had several excellent conversations about creativity and innovation. We talked about purple cows, one of my favorite topics just now, and the work of practitioners and theorists that he was studying. I shared with him my favorite books on creativity. And despite my old age and my high exhaustion level, Bryant was able to motivate me to read a few new texts on creativity. I was inspired by a student who told me his story in my office. As a young child and again as a high schooler, this young man battled leukemia at St. Jude's. He testified before Congress in a hearing focused on stem cell research. Yes, our students are changing the world, and we are supporting them with our work in Eddy. Another student, a veteran who had spent most of his time overseas in combat, shared his story with me as we worked to figure out how he could best apply his military experience, his work experience in the military, to his work here in academia. Soon after, he sent me an email that thanked me for listening. He thanked me for listening. I can't imagine anywhere but my office in Eddy that would have given Aaron the surroundings he needed to share his experiences with me. A young woman who had worked diligently in my writing arguments class came to my office one day. She shared that she had been abused and was extricating herself from that situation. She was taking a late withdrawal from her classes to get her life back on track. I remember the tears we both shed. Remarkably, in the class, she had analyzed an image of children from India celebrating the Festival of Color. She told me that writing that analysis made a difference in her attitude and in her determination. I could go on, but we have places to go just now. Many of us will wander back into the Eddy building and continue experiencing the wonders that will take place there. With the renovation, Eddy provides more inspiration and motivation for faculty and students alike. The windows are modern and efficient. I love my new desk. I am thankful for clean, bright walls. The navigational signs on the walls make Eddy inviting and easy to be in. So the conversation and inspiration will continue in Eddy, and we can undergird our students to inspire the world with their strength and genius. I look forward to the many hours I will spend in the strong, beautiful, and comfortable home called Eddy. Yay.